Okay, this is Planets and Only Four Symbols, part 2, right? And before we move on, just gonna do a quick review, right, of what we've accomplished after being given the keys to the universe, right? We went to college for 900 years. We got our designation. We've got our 100 acres in Beta Quadrant 61 of this universe, and we've built our sun. Required a lot of math, required a lot of time, right? Remember, this thing has got to operate. The sun must operate, right? This communications device we built called Mercury must operate, right? Earth, it must operate. It can't stop operating. So before we move on and talking specifically about Earth, we can add one more symbol that is kind of on the resume of you, right? This is you. Right? We could say, just put your name here. Right? And this is you, right? Your essence, right? Your vitality, that's you, right? These are your Mercury skills, right? These are your communication skills, right? This knowledge, right? These are my Venus skills, right? I love, I'm really good at like designing things, making them look beautiful aesthetically, right? These are my Venus skills. These are my Mars skills, right? I'm really good at doing things, right? I can express desire, right? Sexuality is in here. I don't know if that should be on your resume, but this is the resume of you, right? And there's one other piece, I think what it was is when we're missing our mom, or we were scared of the dark. And so we said, we need this reflective device that we're going to put precisely right in between the Earth and say the sun, right here. And it's going to be the moon, right? It's a moon. Yeah, it's like the sun, but it's the moon. It's like the matriarchal aspect, right? But it's this symbol, right, of consciousness, mind, right? Kind of reflecting back in on itself, right? Here to imagine, if it was a whole circle and we folded some back in, maybe. Or you could just say consciousness reflecting on consciousness, right? There's no real spirit in this symbol, right? There's no heart. There's no matter. Not really even being, unless you consider the nodes, maybe, of the moon's being. But that's the moon. This is a symbol for the moon, and that really is your urge to be rooted here on Earth, right? That urge, the house, the home, right? It's a nightlight. That's all it is. Remember, the moon's full every single day. It's just whether it's illuminated or not, right? Full moon every single day. Don't let the reflection confuse you, right? The moon is full every day. So that being said, now we're going to kind of move on, right? Remember, these are all you, right? The moon is in here. These are all your symbols. The resume of you, right? So the next group of planets move a little bit slower, right? When I say slower, we're talking about like its position celestially. So if we were to imagine the cosmos and all these star groups that we would call constellations, right? If you look up in the sky, you can see all these constellations, and there's tons of them. Like, there's a few that are recognized, by the astrology or astronomy community. But when you look at like how many there are actually out there, there's like a billion. So that being said, those inner planets there, they don't spend a heck of a lot of time hanging out in these constellations. So this is why we say those are kind of you. And we'll jot those down so we don't forget them, right? We got the sun, and we'll put the moon there too. The sun, the moon. We've got Mercury, Venus, who just wants a hug. And Mars, who wants to just get stuff done, right? So far, we've built these. Now we're going to continue. And we're going to start with one that I don't think a lot of people have heard of. And this is the planet of Sirius, right? And this is a really cool symbol. Right, so we've got our mind, and it's quite literally placed over matter. This is Sirius. Right, so what is Sirius? I've never heard of. Well, remember, this is a tiny planet, like almost like Pluto. Right, if we're going to call Pluto a planet, then there's other ones that actually fall into these categories. Right, Sirius is beautiful. Sirius is kind of a function of Earth, right? We forgot to put Earth. We'll put Earth right here, right? So this is kind of a function of Earth, right? We're going to now start to colonize this place with all these other beings. Any Earth being like a lizard, right, or a zebra. So Sirius is kind of this ye ask and ye shall receive, right? This concept of mind over matter, right? Imagine like the genie in a bottle. Like, you want abundance? Right? Sirius will bring you abundance. If you feel like you're worthy, Sirius will make you feel worthy, right? But if you don't want to experience these things, right, you can also, those become your values. And so this mind over matter is a concept. Remember, there's no spirit here. This is almost like just exclusively a communications device, or something to remind us that, matter through consciousness, right? Like, ye ask and ye shall receive, right? Sirius. So the next one, I think you've all heard of. And we're going to put Sirius down here in kind of this next group. And what I mean, with back to the constellation idea, is these next group of planets, they move a lot slower in these constellations. So for instance, this next one, which is kind of like Sirius, right next to Sirius, right? We've got our consciousness, but kind of off to the side, we've got matter. It's almost like matter. There's no spirit in this symbol, right? It's just kind of this idea of consciousness or mind connected to matter in an interesting way. It's almost like if we were to put a head on it, right, with a kokoro, you could see it's almost like you with this little dish, like, and you've got it hooked to a pair of headphones. And you're just exploring, right? You're like, holy cow, look at all this cool stuff that I made. We're going to name this one Jupiter, right? The Jupiter. And Jupiter is kind of this, right? We want to explore, Earth, let's say. We want to civilize Earth, right? We want to experience like long journeys, and we want to see what's out there. Right? Philosophy, religion, all of these concepts are on the table now. We're exploring just infinite ideas through Jupiter. That's kind of what, that's kind of what Jupiter's into, right? And some of the ancient, this is pre, Christianity. Jupiter was a god. I think today, Jupiter kind of still is a god, right? Kind of gets into the next one. And I'm going to kind of leave Jupiter up there so you can see, kind of the difference now as we evolve, right? We've civilized, we've explored, we've grown, we've done all these cool things, right? Kind of holding consciousness out there and exploring. And so now that we've done all that, Now we've got to organize it, right? We've got to create some sort of structure, right? We have to create rules and laws and these terrible things, but and so now when you look, right, you could see how here matter was holding up in Jupiter, right? Matter was kind of holding up consciousness, right? But now consciousness has been kind of set down below, right? Almost looks like a 4 and a 5, doesn't it? Right? This is the concept of Saturn, right? Saturn, right? This is, and these two are also in this cool relationship. It's like this one is younger, and as we mature and we get older, we start to kind of organize and make rules and these kinds of things, right? It's almost like this is maturity, right? But here now matter is held above consciousness. Almost like, all right, kid, put that thing away and get to work, and let's make some rules and structures and buildings, and let's really build this place out. And so we've got these two concepts of, where is consciousness, what's its role, and kind of where is it in the symbol, right? And you can kind of anticipate, what it means. And so Jupiter, right? This one takes like a year in each constellation, right? So anyone born, say, between in the year 1984, let's say, anyone born in that year, all have kind of Jupiter in the same general aspect, right? If we were to look at it on like a astrological star chart or something, you would see that everyone born in this year, right, has that same Jupiter, right? Of course, different, there's a whole bunch of degrees, right, in the sky, but for the most part, it stays, whereas Saturn's 2.5 years. So you can see that one moves quite a bit, spends a lot more time, right? So this is, say, anyone born between, say, the years of 1975, so say 1977 and a half, right? These people are all going to have the same kind of Saturn aspect, right? Because it takes a couple years to move through this constellation in the sky, right? So those are the two, and remember, these are kind of like in a dance. If we look back to the ancient times, these were gods, and I think at some point there was a compromise that was made, right? Because we couldn't keep worshiping Zeus, right? And we couldn't keep worshiping Jupiter, right? It all depends on who you're asking. And so let's just put, right, Saturn, right? You guys remember that one, okay? So we've got Jupiter and Saturn. So it's almost like, Jupiter wanted to hang on, and Zeus, right? Zeus wanted to hang on. So you ended up with something called like Jupiter Zeus, right? Jesus, Jupiter Zeus. So again, these ones move a lot slower, so we're going to call this row of planets here kind of like the collective. We've built this place and this ability for everyone to love and act and communicate and reflect with these beautiful angles. And now we've introduced, three concepts which don't contain any spirit or heart, right? This is just this idea of we're just going to hook mind and matter together in some various ways to show people, this is kind of the progress to make it here on this planet Earth. But of course, you're going to get hurt, probably. So this is a cool one, which I think kind of applies to Earth. And it's kind of the last planet in this group. of the collective planets. And that's one maybe no one else has heard of. This one, we introduce an actual spirit, right? And the spirit has what appears to be like the letter K. And this is called, I call it Chiron just because of the K, and it helps you kind of reinforce. But it's spelled like, right, CH, right? Is that right? Yeah, something like that. Chiron. But this is cool because you see it has spirit, but matter is over spirit, right? Almost like Mars, right? Where you have matter held above spirit or heart, whereas Venus is spirit and heart above matter, right? This is kind of mind over matter, and this is matter over mind. But this is matter over spirit. You can see what these angles have done. You could say it's a K, or is it? Is this the X, the Y, and the Z axis, right? Think of it like this is going out in space this way, showing you kind of a width, and this could be a length, and this could be a height of something, right? And this idea of Chiron is kind of what I'm doing here right now, is kind of giving you these spiritual gifts, right? Trying to awaken, to heal, right? There is a Kokoro in here, right? Right? This is the heart, the spirit, with these advanced concepts, right? And in using these advanced concepts, we can serve humanity. This is kind of how we're serving humanity. We're using matter, and we're using our mind and spirit to create these things. Humility, right? Mentoring. These are all the concepts, and so this will conclude the second group of planets. Thanks for watching.